Mm. Hey, what's up, nuclear trading? What's up? I will be the first to say that I'm not necessarily a fan of this price action, this ranging back and forth. It just seems like the market is just rotating back and forth, back and forth. It would just be nice if the market can just begin to trade in one direction. So I kind of took a chance at this level right here. The reason why I took a chance here is because I'm just buying the retest of the breaker structure here. That's all I'm doing. This is basically a risk to reward trade. We'll see what happens here. Hopefully, the market doesn't need to rotate down lower. Hopefully, the bulls can hold this. I mean, I know we got Tesla earnings tomorrow. So I don't know if the market wants to actually set itself up for that. We can actually look at Tesla real quick and see. I mean, I already bought my Tesla calls, so I mean, I'm just going to see what happens to them over time. They expire on Friday. They're really cheap, so I don't have to really worry about IV crush or anything like that. But I mean, I do plan on selling them probably before, depending on how they move. If Tesla doesn't move before earnings, and then I'll have no choice but to hold it after earnings. All right. So, I mean, obviously, Tesla's in an area where we can definitely see price trade right back up into this range right here to probably 240, 250, somewhere in that area. I mean, the way the chart is set up, it'll be unlikely for more downside. It will be unlikely. The market is, or at least Tesla, is definitely at an area of support. And so it's highly likely to go and make a move to the upside versus a continuation down. But I mean, Tesla doesn't have, or I should say, Elon doesn't have that same branding that he once did, and a lot of his customer base has deserted due to his political stance. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I already bought my 250 calls for $30, so we'll see if we can get price to move back up into this range before they expire on Friday. Yeah, it'd be nice if if my $30 calls would turn into like $500 or $700. That would be nice. But yeah, so hopefully the Bulls can hold this right here. I'm looking at, hey, what's up, Knife Art? What's up? Yeah, I'm looking at, I do see that liquidity at 425. Hopefully that's hopefully that's them trying to spoof the market and trying to get people to start to sell. So I use Tastyworks whenever I purchase options. I use Tastyworks. Mm. So we're definitely getting a diversion from CVD and the Delta. It does look like we are seeing some buying here at this area. It does look like we're seeing the buying. The CVD is slightly negative right now, but I mean, that could be due to the low volume. And the bear is trying to make another rotation down. Uh, right now, I mean, this is kind of normal for overnight trading. I mean, we're trading with 30,000 or 37,000 contracts overnight and 20,000 micro ES contracts. So, I mean, this is normal for this time. Uh, Hopefully the Bulls make their rotation higher because we did see that sell off going into the close of the session. So hopefully the Bulls can just hold this level right here. I'm not going to try to scale into this overnight. I don't necessarily want to. What I don't want to do is scale into this overnight and not be able to monitor it. I'm okay with losing a trade on one position. I'm okay with that. We can easily get the money back tomorrow morning if that's the case. If we do see the market trade down, but I'm not going to scale into this because the Bulls really got to hold this range right here or hold this level because we can definitely see price come back into this range if they don't. So let's hope for the Bulls, man, and let's hope that they can just trade past the 50, 21, 200 and or the VWAP 21, 250 EMAs that are sloping to the downside. I mean, if we see that big green candle right here, if we can see a big green candle right there closing within that range, then the bulls should be good. They should be good. And if we can see that candle closing inside that range and we see a breakout, pullback, and the market going, then we should expect for the market to continue to trade up to the upside. Yeah. Oh, so my YM trade, the YM trade that I had on was up 15K, 15 to 16K at its peak. And look where it hit. So this was the area that I was trying to take a target off of last night, but obviously it kept on going down. But you can see that, yeah, YM trades just like the ES and the Nasdaq combined. And with the 10 lot, this move right here was 15K, which I ain't gonna lie, I was like, wow. I was talking to Smith about it, and I was like, man, I might actually start to really do some deep diving with YM because the profit potential on this instrument is high. It's really high. Mm, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that, Knife Art. So I mean, right now, YM is coming back into an area of potential support. So I mean, if the Bulls can hold this, if they can hold this area, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a sweep underneath this range and we can possibly see a move to the upside. But if we do see that break of structure to the downside, I do expect for them to come back and retest this level. And this is probably where a decent short entry, you can start a short entry for that move going down lower. Yeah, so I mean, I'll keep my eye on YM. I think Smith took a trade on YM today, and he was profitable on that. Gold is going to be gold, just straight trading to the upside. Like, yeah. Yeah, so hopefully the Bulls hold this, man. I mean, at this point, I know the market is kind of exhausted with this price action. I mean, trading in a range bound market is probably the most easiest money that you'll make. I will say editing videos in a range bound market. I mean, it's made editing videos pretty easy because it did the same thing that it did yesterday. It bounced off the same exact levels. It sold off the same exact levels. So just editing the recap video was definitely easier tonight. But I do want to point something out, something that happened today that I think could signal more upside for the bulls. I mean, we can obviously this the market could still trade lower, but take a look at this. So today we technically had a range breakout to the upside, but the bulls did not hold the retest. So obviously this is the range. We had a range breakout into this range out here, and the bulls came back. They bought the retest, but they wasn't able to hold it. So price came and traded right back into this range. It traded right back into this range. So that tells me that either we're going to go down lower and then probably go back down into like the 300 280, or the bulls are going to hold this and we can see them come back up into that 680 700 level and possibly trade higher. But I am keeping my eyes on 645. I am keeping my eyes on that level. So if we see a bearish move tomorrow, if we see that, I'm definitely going to stay bearish because a break below that range is going to be nasty. A break above this range is going to be nasty. So it really depends on which side of the market you want to trade on. Now, I mean, on the higher time frame, we do got this double top at 600 almost. We do have this double top. I think right now the bears are trying to make that rotation down lower. They're trying, but when I look at the chart, I'm seeing higher lows and I'm seeing higher highs. So that's why I'm betting for the market to continue to go to the upside. That's why I'm making that bet. Now, like I said, if we get a break below this trend line, then my bias will flip from being bullish to bearish. That's why I'm not willing to scale into the position overnight. And we got an area of resistance here at 660. So that's why I'm going to be watching that 660 area when price trades back into this area, because of this area of resistance where we saw price sell off about 400 points from this high. And now price is slowly but surely making its way back up into this area. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, what's up, Alfred? Were you able to capitalize on today? Yeah, right here is at 660, or that's 5. Uh, hey, yo, congratulations on that, man. Yeah, it was either one way or the other today for NQ traders. The ES was relatively easy to trade today. Um, as long as you didn't get caught, the ES was definitely easy to trade. The Nasdaq, though, Man, was she all over the place. She was all over the place today. All right, Knife Art. Have a good night. YM Sharon. Hey yo, so Alfred, I was up about so at the peak of this trade, I was up about 15K. I was up about 15K at the top. But the good thing about the YM is like, yeah, I'm up 2K. And as I was talking to Smith about this, I was like, man, there's so much profit potential in trading the YM. And you can see that where I had my first target at last night, that's exactly where she rejected at. Like the YM trades exactly like the ES. She trades like the ES in the Nasdaq. Like if the Nasdaq traded like the ES, that's how YM trades. Big moves, but it trades in one direction, so you don't have to worry about that back and forth crap that the Nasdaq does. And it trades within a structure. You can't beat that. The risk to reward on this is if you can get in at a good level, have like maybe a 50-point stop with decent size and a 200 to 300 point target because you know that she can do it. Yeah, the risk to reward is crazy on this instrument. And I think our boy Smith was able to. He said that he actually was able to get into a trade, and he took profits here at this level. So I think it was up like 300 or 400 bucks. So I mean, yeah, YM is definitely decent. Definitely start adding her to the arsenal. Gold is making its way down. We'll see what happens, man. Let's see what happens when it gets back into this area of support. If it's going to trade past it, or if they're going to find support. I mean, this is a double top right here. Let me pull this down. This is a double top right here on gold. So this is definitely going to be going down. Oh, it already broke structure to the downside, and it's trading underneath all the EMAs. So we could see price bounce at 27.53, but it's definitely going to go down though. I mean, once you get that confirmation double top, you could have added to this short, reduced your risk, and just ride this thing down. All right. You said, have I checked out the Russell? So no, I have not checked out the Russell. I'm not gonna lie though. I'm under the assumption that the Russell does. I'm under the assumption that uh, you really can't make real money on the Russell. Now, it's not a valid opinion. I just kind of always had that bias, so I never really paid attention to her. But looking at the chart now, I mean, I'm guessing, I'm gonna make the assumption that 281. Mm. I'll open up a new chart to kind of see what it looks like. This trading view is not being cooperative right now. RTY. Of course. Of course. I will definitely be trading on election night. I'll be having my gamble account ready and on deck for sure. We show up every day, baby. Show up every day. 12. If there's a broadcast with the election, I'll also be streaming that as well. If there's a broadcast, which I'm pretty sure that they will be. So kind of we're going to put our tinfoil hats on. I was kind of thinking about, what could happen with the election. I mean, this will be Trump's second term. So, I mean, even if he were to be elected, this will be his second term. So he doesn't necessarily have to, he doesn't have to necessarily play politics because, I mean, once he's done with his 4 years, he's done. He's not eligible to be reelected as president. He's done. But if we can remember the episode with the Simpsons, I just feel that something so specific, like what happened in the episode with the Simpsons. We're not talking about the assassination attempts. I'm talking about the fact that if y'all remember that episode with the Simpsons where they was saying that once Donald Trump was out of office, inflation was so bad, the economy was so bad, and that Lisa, or quote unquote, a female president, had to come behind him and clean up his mess. Now, this is where we're going to put that tinfoil hat on. Hopefully those chain of events doesn't play out, hopefully. But what if that does happen and then Kamala reruns for president and she's elected president the second time, and just following the footsteps of that episode in The Simpsons, she has to quote unquote clean up Trump's mess. Now, we all know that The Simpsons has been freaking predicting realities like it's nothing, like everything that they've predicted has almost come true. So we'll just hope that stuff like that doesn't happen. Hopefully, a Trump presidency can give the economy the strength that it needs. Now, if Harris is actually elected, well, we already know what's going to happen with that. We know what's going to happen with that. We're just going to get 4 more years of what we already have. Nothing's going to change. More wars, more inflation, higher prices, lower wages, and less jobs. So we already know what's going to happen. And at least we know that she grew up as a middle class child and her neighbors love their lawns. And every time she gives a speech, she can hit us with her new accent. But we'll see. We'll be streaming the elections. Definitely. So as I'm looking at RTY, I mean, I don't know, man. So it is trading in one direction. I do enjoy that it is trading in one direction, but man, look at all this freaking chop. I don't know if I could ever take RTY seriously, man. I don't know if I could. Like this thing has been, oh, actually, man. Okay, my bad. I have it. I'm sorry. Let me take back my statement because I don't have it at the right. Let me take that back. Okay. Okay. So this is 1,000 tick chart. Okay. The one thing, like I said, the one thing I do like about these instruments is that they trade in one direction. So, I mean, if you're a Nasdaq trader, I mean, the way that she trades gives you PTSD. And when you see other instruments, like if you're bearish, you can actually be bearish on these instruments and get paid versus the bull crap that the Nasdaq does. This is a breath of fresh air. This is definitely a breath of fresh air. And I know that is I think it's like $5 per point, just like the Dow with the RTY or Russell with the Russell. So unlike the Nasdaq, where you'll have instances where the bears are interrupted during their rotation and they don't get a full rotation. Like this is the first week in a very long time. So last week and this week was the first time that the bears has gotten a full rotation and a double bottom. This is when I start seeing bears get double bottoms. This is when I know that okay, something's changing, something's happening in the market. From what I'm reading, is that the markets, the betting markets, are pricing in a Trump presidency. That's what I'm reading in online forums. Now, obviously, you take that with a grain of salt. These are just other traders, but the good thing about taking in, or not necessarily taking in, but having a knowledge of what other traders are saying, is that we have to remember that the market is always right, even when it's wrong. You can't fight against public bias. If people think that Trump is going to be our next president and they're pricing a Trump presidency, you just have to shut the fuck up and color. You shut up and color. And you buy the news, or you buy the rumor and you sell the news. Nobody doesn't know who's going to be elected come November 5th. But if people think it's Trump, then you trade it. I mean, that's the only thing that you can do. But it's obviously that something's changing, and that we should be preparing ourselves for a big move to the up or downside. Now we do got Tesla earnings tomorrow as well, so, and then we have peak week next week, where the biggest names are going to be reporting their earnings. So the market could be setting up for that. The market could be setting up for the election, or I guess the institutions are just putting the brakes on all the buying that they've been doing. So he said, yeah, I saw that. I saw that. And that's what I'm expecting to happen this time around too. Now, we've already seen it. We've already talked about this. If Harris is elected president, then we should expect the market to be super green. For whatever reason, Obama, during the stock market during Obama's presidency, has been the best that the stock market has ever been. I think Obama had the biggest returns out of Trump and Biden combined. Combined. So you know that if Harris is elected president, then there is no way in hell that they were going to allow the first female president to have uh, anything bad said about her. I'm pretty sure that the market is going to do better than Obama. Actually, let's see. Let's actually look and see if I can find that polling in, because that was great data to have, great data to look at. No, that's not it. Let me see if I can find it. I mean, I'm not gonna look too hard for it. I mean, if I can't find it again, I can't find it again. But We on stream we looked at a chart and it showed that Obama just had the best stock market performance during his presidency, and it's not a surprise. He was the first black president, so of course, when the history books read, oh, who was the first black president, they're going to show that, oh yeah, he had the best or the best stock market performance for whatever reason, even though we had a financial crash during his presidency. Um, so I expect the same treatment for Harris as well. So, um, and you're absolutely right, Alfred. For whatever reason, but I mean, I understand why she's doing at least that. I mean, the Democratic Party, they want the black and they want the female vote. Unfortunately, women don't want to hear about men. I mean, I don't know why, but I mean, that's just a fortunate truth. They don't necessarily want to hear about fathers because apparently men are just living bank accounts for, at least that's the, anyway, it's not that important. When it comes to female voters, they've learned through study, and this is, I mean, if you look at any ads or anything that's directed towards women, with men, we envision how we can use it. With men, with women, they envision themselves. So if you look at ads, it will always portray a woman that another woman can look at and say, that's me. They will always sell their products to where it was like, huh, how can I look like, or how do I look like in this product, or how do I feel when I use this product? That's what research has, what's the correct word to say? Anyway, the point of the matter is she's targeting female voters, and that's the language, the tactics, that's what appeals, that's what's appealing to women. That's why they use terms like scary and danger, and words that a lot of females use that elicit strong emotions. That's why when you hear terminology about Trump, they use those words, and that's the reason why, to incite strong emotion and potential female and voters. Because with men, if it all we do is look at it logically, we don't care about if Trump is really a danger. The only thing we care about is, well, shit, when he was president, I was able to pay all my bills and still have money in my pocket. I don't care how scary he is. I had money. When women, it's like, oh my God, is he scary? They use words like, oh, JD Vance is weird. They've studied their voter base. That's why they use these strong words to elicit strong emotions. So, and that's why they feel like they can come up with that, oh, I was a middle class family bull crap, even though her family owned slaves. And I don't think middle class families are able to own slaves or be able to afford to own slaves. But that's not here nor there. That is not here nor there. She was definitely not a middle class. She did not grow up middle class. She grew up rich. I mean, if you look at she's wearing $10,000 necklaces. There's no way in hell people that lived in the middle class can just afford $10,000 plus necklaces, just jewelry. Jewelry. Yeah, so I don't believe those stories for a second. Mm, yeah, that's absolutely correct. And honestly, once I learned about, why the world is the way that it is now, I mean, once you understand it, when you see it, you really, I mean, there's no point in getting mad about it. I mean, if you start like when you start a business and your motto is that the customer is always right, just think about that. Think about how that evolves over time. The customer is always right, even when they're wrong. And when your customer base is mostly women, and with women, it's me, me, me. And a lot of businesses, like with the cancel culture and stuff like that, I mean, from what I've seen, even if someone hasn't tried a product themselves or hasn't experienced any negative experience from a business, all it takes is for someone to elicit strong emotions on social media, have somebody read it, and that can literally destroy your business. That's why Yelp and all those food critics, a lot of those businesses had to, I mean, those those food critic applications gave a lot of business owners PTSD because they knew that one bad review can literally destroy their business. Literally. But the customer is always right, even when they're wrong. So I mean, like when you see stuff like that, I mean, it's not a surprise. It's not. They're playing the game how they're supposed to play it. It's really that situation where you just can't really hate the player. You got to hate how the game is played. I mean, think about it. If this wasn't true, if this wasn't the case, then their strategy would be completely different. You have to really think about if one party is okay with lying, and I'm not saying that the other party isn't okay with lying either, because like I said, it's the same bird. It's just two wings on the same bird. But they're pandering to their base. So the behaviors that they're exhibiting, obviously Republicans are more traditionally conservative, so obviously they're going to come at their base in a conservative way. Now, obviously, if the Democratic Party, if majority of their base is mentally ill, then they're going to have to come at their party or their audience the same way. So when you see these politicians being absolutely unhinged, you have to think, who are they trying to pander to? Their base. And it just really shows, what word do I want to use? It just really shows the state of, no, I'll leave it alone. I'll leave it alone. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop talking about it now. But I will say that I will definitely be glad when the elections are over. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of not necessarily tired, but um, I can't scroll through social media and just kind of waste time without seeing something about either candidate. I really don't care, and it just floods my feed. I'm just trying to watch just some mindless videos to pass the time, to decompress. And it's, oh man, this candidate did this, that candidate did that. These clickbait titles, oh, this reporter lost their job, when it's like, dude, it's like, what? But I'll just be glad when November 5th comes and goes. So I will say that this does look like some support. This does look like a small little double bottom right here. I am confident that I will at least be profitable in this trade. What I'm not too confident is that maybe, I mean, I think I should get my targets hit on this. I think I should. I think I should. Because if we can get over these EMAs and we can have a strong close in this range, then I have a good I have a good chance that price is going to rotate back into this range, and I can at least get two of my targets hit. At least two. I don't know about this third one. I mean, that's kind of out there. I mean, shit. That's kind of out there. That third target is out there for sure. I think I'm going to probably put this down like right here. Or yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, why not? I'm pretty sure I should probably put it right here, but yeah, let's put it right here. Yeah, let's put it right there. So if the bulls can hold, then price will definitely rotate back into this range tonight. But if they can't, then well, they're going to rotate back down into this range. And what's going to keep me in this trade is if they don't need to trade all the way to the bottom of this range. If they can just bounce on the top of this range and just keep on going, then I could stay in this trade. If not, then we're just going to have to find another opportunity come in the morning. I am in the ES. I'm also in the trade on the ES as well. Take this off. I'm confident that I should get my target hit on this. I should get my target hit on this one on the ES for sure. Maybe I'll probably put this down like 1 point, probably like 89. Probably like right here. Yeah, that's good. Or yeah, that's good right there. I should get that target hit on ES. I'm not worried about the ES. It's just the Nasdaq. It's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, me too, J Stores, because it's at this point, it's yeah, yeah. I will say this though. I didn't think about this. Like I said, this was something that, I read in a forum. Obviously, take it with a grain of salt. But it does make sense. It does make sense. Now, you would think that, when Trump is saying that, anybody that, crossed the border or came into the country and didn't do it the right way, is that that was going to be his main focus of deporting people that didn't come into the country the right way. But because the market is the market, and they're saying that if the migrants that are here and the ones that are working, the ones that are being used as cheap labor, basically slaves, if they get deported, then that's going to depress the labor market. That the jobs that those migrants are filling, mind you, working for slave wages, if they're getting taken away from those jobs, then those businesses suffer. And if those businesses suffer, then the community suffers. And I thought to myself, you know what? That actually does make sense. That's just the reality of the economy. Cheap labor has always been sought after by a business owner. When you don't own a business and every penny matters, of course that's evil. It's like, how can you do that? Humans have rights. We're all humans. How could you be that way? Blah, blah, blah. But when you become a business owner and everybody expects you to pay their checks, uh, any third party vendors that you do business with, they expect their checks. Um, it's as a business owner, everybody has their hand out taking money from your business. And you're lucky if at the end of the month, after all expenses are paid, you're green. A lot of businesses run in the black, run at a deficit. It's a blessing if you're a business owner and you run in the green. That's a blessing. Cheap labor, that's why a lot of these businesses are contracting out so they don't have to pay healthcare or any of the that other stuff or any other benefits, the vacation time, paid leave, blah blah blah. That's why a lot of these companies are just going third party contracting because it's cheaper. Migrants, especially the ones that are undocumented and have no choice but to be paid underneath the table, cheap labor. I did watch. I've already shared this documentary um, where they was doing the crackdown on migration, and I guess they had a lot of undocumented immigrants working on a farm, and the farmer was like, "Yeah, like these guys are really the backbone of the business. Without them, they won't be able to, meet their quotas because they're in the fields and they're working." And this is when ICE was really, or this is when the ICE breakdowns were really big. And I think this was in Connecticut, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I've seen this documentary, but obviously they try to portray it as, they come here, they want to work, which is true. But at the end of the day, they know exactly why they wanted to keep them. They know exactly why. And if you're not, I mean, if you're bold enough to say that, to tell yourself that, hey, I mean, I know that I'm not paying this person a livable wage, but God damn it, I need this person to stay afloat. I mean, when you try to portray it as something else, to say like, oh no, we're giving them an opportunity, blah blah blah. Like, no, it's like you know exactly what the fuck you're doing. So that's the situation that the United States is in. The labor market is the Fed is watching the labor market for a reason because it's in danger. Unfortunately, that's why the border was open. That's why people were allowed in. People will say that people that don't say that that's not the reason doesn't know what they're talking about. And we've watched all the Fed meetings, and we was talking about it before they said it out loud. They said exactly why they allowed the migrants because they needed labor. We're in a labor shortage here in the United States. Well, obviously, a lot of people are mentally ill. If they're not mentally ill, they're lazy. They don't want to work. They're not motivated to work, especially this new generation. All they want to do is get on TikTok and dance and eat hot Takis and shit and hot Cheetos. That's it. That's what this new generation wants to do. Mm, yeah, yeah, yep, yep. That's definitely true. And yeah, Alfred, yeah, these lines, this early voting, like if the lines are that long during early voting, just imagine when people are trying to scramble. I mean, mm, and kind of going back to Jay Stores, yeah. When obviously when I got out of high school, I think my first job outside of retail and fast food was a shipyard. I started off as like the help, and then I worked my way up to be like a welder's assistant where I can just weld and stuff like that. But everybody there was contractors as well. Only close family and friends were hired full time on this short on this shipyard. That was actually hired with the company, but the company itself outsourced and through a temp agency, and that's where majority of the workers was hired through. Back then, I didn't understand why. Actually, I didn't really care. As long as I was getting paid, I didn't care. But obviously, now that I have a better understanding of how the world works, people say that we haven't been slaves. Oh yeah, that's not true. They just changed the name. They just changed the name. They definitely just changed the name. But you're working 20, or if you're working overtime for minimum wage, that is slavery. You can't live off that. Minimum wage is what, $7.25 the last time I checked. I know that it's gone up in certain places, but Nobody can live off of $7 an hour. And then it forces you to work more than 40 hours a week just to get by, just to not get by. So shit, kind of thinking about that, that kind of reminded me of college athletes. There was one point in time where they couldn't even get paid while the schools made billions off of their likeness, their jerseys, their names. And I'm pretty sure that the smarter ones got something, but they weren't allowed to make any money. But I'm thinking that's changing now. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I take my time and completely understand how that works. I'm not saying that. From a surface level, I know that they weren't allowed to make money, even though the school was making money off of their brand because, quote unquote, they gave them a scholarship and the opportunity to play for their team. Shit, if that ain't slavery, I don't know what is. Mm. Yep. Yeah, that's why I'm passionate about this thing too, J Stores, because trading does provide freedom. It definitely provides freedom. It also gives you the opportunity for self-reflection and growth if you take it. Because shit, being a trader is one thing. Being a great trader, man, you're literally going through the valley of shadow. What is it? The valley of shadows and death. Anyway, you're really going down that valley, and a lot of people don't make it out. A lot of people don't make it out of that valley. Valley of the Shell. Appreciate that, Alfred. Yeah, traders definitely goes through that hero's journey. He said Coolio told you that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, we as traders, we definitely go through that hero's journey because man, uh you definitely have to, not only do you have to learn how to trade, but you got to overcome your demons and then you have to trust yourself. I know that sounds crazy to say, but a lot of people don't trust their own judgment. A lot of people don't. And once you fully begin to trust your own judgment, that's when the doors open up to you. That's when the doors open up. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree. Definitely agree with that. Like this trade yesterday. So on the ES, I was able to catch this move. I was able to catch this move down. And I was able to profit off of this move. And once I got my target filled, I just walked away. I mean, with the 50K, I can only make like $500 to $600 a day anyway. So once I got $600, I just closed the position and I just walked away from the charts. But I didn't have to take this trade right here. I could have caught this trade. Now, obviously, during this area of consolidation, I saw that it was at support. I saw that, I mean, it was highly likely to continue to go up. I think I was at the gym. I think this is when, yeah, before I went to the gym, I saw that the market pumped up. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, the market is going to rotate higher. So I'm going to wait for a price to retest 74 or somewhere close. and I'm going to get in long. Now, when the market came back down to 74, I did not trust myself, or I didn't trust my judgment. I told myself that oh man, this is too high to buy. You're crazy if you buy this. But my instincts told me, dude, buy this stuff or buy this area, buy 74, go to the gym, and when you come back, you're going to be a happy man. Even though that intuition told me that, I said to myself, nah, it's not worth it. I didn't trust it. And so obviously when I came back from the gym and saw this thing, Sky, was not only it would have hit my target, but it went further. I had to watch this. Now, my initial thought was to revenge trade, but then we already had this conversation already. Why the hell I'm going to get mad when I had the opportunity to get in at a good level? I didn't trust it. Why the hell I'm going to trade on tilt because I didn't listen to my intuition? So as it kept chopping up, trading up, I was looking for an area to where it's like, okay, so I'm not going to get into this long. I'm not going to get trapped at this high because I know this was a trap. And I was thinking, well, it can possibly come right here. I got in at 92 though. My entry is at 92. It got all the way up to 94. And then we got that drop. Now, obviously, going short was dangerous, but I had to trust that we're in an area of support or an area of resistance, and we just made this massive leg up. Trust the shorts. I didn't trust the long, so I had to trust the shorts. And I was telling Smith, I was like, man, I'm so angry with myself because I missed the long and I would have got paid and I wouldn't have to try to trade against the trend to make my daily profit goal for the day. But I trusted my analysis. I trusted the area. I went short and I watched it. Now, lucky for me, I mean, obviously price went straight down. Now, this little candle right here, or it was right here. This little candle right here, this missed my target by literally one tick. This missed my target by one tick. And it ran up. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh my God. Is this thing about to rotate back up for a double top? The amount of emotions that I went through once I saw this little candle right here was, I wouldn't say that it was overwhelming, but if I didn't have the discipline to stay calm in that situation, I can see why a lot of people would have closed this position and flipped long because we had this massive move up. It looked like the bulls were going to try to double bottom here at this little area right here. The market had already moved 10 points and it looked like they just trapped the bulls here. And like I said, the amount of emotions that I went through, I was like, man. But I had to trust that my analysis was correct. I told myself that there's no way that they're going to bounce it here because if they do, it just wouldn't make sense. It just wouldn't make sense. Honestly, I thought they was going to go all the way down to what is that? If this is 85, this is where I thought it was going to go. Okay, so it got to 87. I think my initial analysis was that it was going to come down to 85. So if I had my target down at 85, I would have missed it by 2 points. But I had my target at 90 because, like I said, all I needed was $500 for the daily profit goal. I had to trust in my analysis. I had to trust in where I thought price was going to go. And I didn't overreact. Lucky for me, this was just a fake out and I got my target hit. And it just goes to show that trading is easy. It's just that the emotions makes this thing hard. It's going to be your emotions that make it hard. And then I was talking to Smith about this. I was like, man, I almost made a mistake today. I really almost made a mistake because I really thought that this thing missed me by a tick and that I was going to have to sit through a full-fledged retracement back up to these highs. And I already had my stop at break even +1. So I was like, man, I'm just glad it didn't happen that way. I just wasn't going to let myself miss a trade twice in the same day because I didn't trust my own analysis. So, yeah, that was that. That people, I mean, honestly, Alfred, it's easier to live in ignorance, man. They say ignorance is bliss. That's a reason why they say that shit, man. Ignorance is blissful. I will say that I was a much happier person being ignorant with my eyes closed. Or what is that show? Eyes closed, wide shut, or something like that. Anyway, trying to be cute with words. Being asleep was comfortable. Being asleep is definitely comfortable. And now I understand why people choose to be ignorant. Because shit, we're all made of the same stuff. If people want to be smart, they can definitely educate themselves. People choose to be ignorant because it's more blissful. When you don't have to take accountability for your actions, when you can sit here and play ignorant, it's like, oh, I didn't know that this was going to happen. Or I didn't know that if I did this, that was going to happen, or I was going to get in this amount of trouble. Versus, yeah, you knew better than to do that and you did it anyway. Yeah, people rather live in ignorance. And it's unfortunate that ignorant people get the vote and make decisions for other people. Because, I mean, everybody's entitled to their own vote, but just because you're voting, you don't care who it is, as long as it's not Trump. When I hear stupid shit like that, it's like, oh my God. Rich people that don't even live in reality. And we're talking about wealthy people that no matter who's the president, no matter what the economic conditions are, they're going to be good. All their assets are paid for. They don't have to live check to check. I mean, they literally live in a dream world. Mind you, they earn that. So I'm not hating off of people that earn that. But I feel like people like that doesn't deserve to make decisions for the everyday man that has to depend on who the leadership of this country is. It amazes me that poor people vote for their own demise. That's what amazes me the most, just because of how somebody makes them feel. It's like, yeah, you can't pay your groceries or nothing. Yeah, everything's more expensive, but joy, happiness, sunshine and rainbows. Let's just focus on that. And we do this to you every 4 years. We ignore you. We listen to what bothers you and do nothing about it. But we're just going to come every 4 years. We're going to do songs and dances. We're going to get your favorite celebrities. We're going to have them sing and dance for you. And we're just going to come do this cycle over and over and over forever in a 4-year cycle. Yeah, so yeah, ignorance is blissful. You don't have to take accountability for your actions. All right, so it looks like so we got price above. I mean, that's a strong enough. I mean, it's not a strong close, but that's a good close above the 21 in VWAP. So I'm thinking that we can possibly see price trade back up into the top of this range right here at 535. But we're definitely going to have to get a breakout because obviously the bears, all their stops, are hanging in the balance and they know it. They know it. They know their stops are hanging in the balance on this one. So all the bulls need is a decent push up until this pocket of liquidity. We could see a move up to 565. We could see that rejection. And this will be the test for the bulls right here to buy that retest of that break of structure to the upside. If the bulls don't hold, we'll just see that rotation back down into this range right here. So we'll see. We'll see who really wants the control of this market. Yeah, it does piss me off, man, because the Democratic Party don't treat black people like people. They use them as tools. It's like according like from a Democratic point of view, it's we're still on the plantation basically. When Obama says that, like when he had the audacity to say that he owns all black people and that regardless of our own beliefs, we should go vote for Kamala because she's a woman. No one cares about if she's a woman. She's incompetent. She's not authentic. She's fake. That's why we're not voting for her. But it's just the audacity of them thinking that they own us. You should be happy. We gave you welfare. We broke up your homes. We told your black single mom that to kick the man out, to kick your dad out of the house. And if we catch him in the house, we're going to take away all your benefits. I mean, all they did was encourage broken black family homes. That's all they did. And like you said, once I grew to understand this, I mean, yeah, when you become a victim of that, you become a victim of, well, yeah, a victim of that poverty lifestyle. The government is your daddy. The government is your mom's sugar daddy because she's waiting for the check. And not only do they encourage the woman to not allow a man to live in the home, they also encourage her to not work. They tell her that if she makes past a certain amount, they're going to take away certain benefits from her. So she's put in a situation to where, damn, I gotta fend for myself and the kids. So I mean, what else could she do? So yeah, I mean that welfare, all that stuff, that just encourage the damage that has happened to the community, basically. And I had to claw my way out of that, just like a lot of successful black men. I mean, we all have the same story. We all have the same story. Mm. But you can really see how the Democratic Party does view, like I said, they don't even come at us the same way that they come at everybody else. I mean, they think that we listen to people like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion and Usher. I mean, yeah, they make good music. They make us feel good with their music, but um, I don't think we should be taking any political advice from entertainers. But that's how they see us. They have entertainers twerking with the word vote on their butts and stuff like that. It's like honestly, anybody that's of African American descent should be embarrassed that that's how they see us. I mean, that's how they see us. It's like, oh, just do a song and dance and we'll get their vote. Like it's it's like that's how they see us. They don't even see us as human beings with logic. They brought out Quavo, Meg The Stallion, Lizzo. Yeah, let's get these guys and tell them to vote. They'll listen to them. Like what? What? Yeah, it's crazy. So I mean, but like I said, man, it's not going to get everybody. But unfortunately, if they're using it, it's working on somebody. So I mean, mm. And unfortunately, like I said, this is just a uh, a real point of view. But the black community right now, uh, the black vote is very important. What the ignorance is bliss is once the undocumented migrants become able to vote in the next election, the black vote will no longer matter. And when the black vote no longer matters, then these politicians are no longer going to pander to the black community. And it's going to be a culture shock how quick things are going to change. What was once the quote unquote black community plantation, they're going to see how quick everything changes when the black vote no longer matters. You're not going to see Biden say, "Hey, if you ain't black, you ain't vote for me," or you ain't gonna see them hire entertainers anymore. You're not gonna see that. They don't need the black vote anymore. They have now the I mean, because of course, if you came from an impoverished country and the Democratic Party is the party that allowed you to become a citizen here in the United States, of course you're getting their vote. Of course. Mm. Yeah, that's absolutely right, Alfred. I mean, that's how they see us, man. That's how they see us. You don't see them. You really don't see. Mm, yeah, you really don't see it. I think, well, obviously the Taylor Swift endorsement was pretty big, but I think that supposedly backfired. I think supposedly. I mean, shit. Taylor Swift is probably she's the highest paid entertainer of, I think, of all time. I think the last article that I read about her is that she makes $1 million a day, and that was probably like $10 10 years ago. I'm pretty sure it's more than that now. Taylor Swift is a big influence, and a big influence and a big influencer. She dwarfs Drake. Drake standing next to Taylor Swift, he's small to Taylor Swift. That's how big Taylor Swift is. That's how much money she can command. And I think that's why both sides was fighting for that Taylor Swift endorsement. Darth Trader. I'm using Ninja Trader 8. I'm using Ninja Trader 8. So you know what? This could possibly go up further. Like this could probably go like to on the ES. I'm thinking I'm probably shortchanging myself on the ES on this. Probably shortchanging myself. Hmm. You know what? I think yeah. I'm in my swing account as well. I'm in my swing account on this. All right, so I'm going to take the profits here when it gets hit overnight. I'm gonna take that. But on my swing account, I think this can get up to like the 910, 915. I think we can see 910, 915 for sure. Probably 910. Probably somewhere in the middle between 915 and 910. Yeah. Yeah, this can really rotate higher if the bulls, because the bulls found support here on the ES, and the ES is ready to go. The ES is definitely ready to go. Well, I guess the ES kind of has to get over the 50 EMA, but as soon as she gets over that, yeah, my target is going to get hit tonight for sure. For sure is getting hit because she brought the retest. She bought the bulls bought the retest of this breaker structure. So the market is definitely going to start rotating up higher. I kind of wish I could move my target up, but I have a trailing stop on this one. So even if I move it up, my stop will probably get hit. And I like I said, I got my funded account on I got my funded account activated on UProfit, the one that the account that I passed today, and I got the notification for the MFF account that I passed today, but I already got 3 funded accounts already, so that's actually in limbo right now. That's in limbo right now. Hmm. Oh crap! I think I made a mistake. So Nasdaq. Okay, yeah, yeah. So I should get this thing hit overnight, especially if we can get a green candle above the 50 EMA, and then we should be making that rotation back up higher. Same thing with the Nasdaq. Yeah, I mean, shit. You got price closing within this range. Now the next thing that the bears or the bulls got to do is just trade outside. Is to trade at the top of this range, get a breakout, and find support above this range. That's all we need right now. Mm. Nah, I'm not gonna add to this. So what I was thinking about doing was kind of adding to this and probably taking that target off right here. That'll be 40 points. I'll be $80. Nah, I'm not gonna add to this position. I'm just gonna wait for my targets to get hit. Mm. Yeah, what's gonna really solidify this move for the bulls is if we get that strong close right above this 50 EMA. We really don't want to see price kind of fail here because obviously we got price above. All right, so the 250 EMA is right here and the 21 in VWAP is right here. So we might have people trying to come in and sell it right here. They might try to come in and sell this, but I don't think they're going to be successful. Mm, So if they're doing it here, then that means that they're trying to sell on the ES as well. Yeah, they're trying to sell it off on the ES as well. 84, 94. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right. So let's look at probably going to end it at 9:30. All right. So we definitely have some things to pay attention to tomorrow. Honestly, the beige book, I do expect to see a reaction tomorrow with the beige book. But now that the Fed has already committed to the rate cuts that they've committed to, the beige book, we shouldn't see a reaction to it anymore. Before, when we weren't sure if the Fed was going to pivot, the beige book was very important because investors could kind of interpret what the Fed or what they could do based on the transcripts of the meeting. But now it's kind of irrelevant. We already know we're getting the rate cuts come November. So, um, like I said, I really don't expect to see like a real market reaction here. We have housing news at 9. I really don't expect a real reaction there. So tomorrow should be a light day. Thursday, obviously, the focus is going to be on the labor market. We don't want to see the job numbers coming hot. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I mean, if we do see a negative reaction, it's going to probably get bought back up. Uh, we got PMI on Thursday as well. That's going to be big. PMI. That's going to be big. The cost of doing business. The cost of doing business. But I mean, I think that's it. That's Thursday. Yeah, let's actually this damn page with this lazy loading. This week. Yeah, and on Friday we got durable goods. Yeah, so I mean, honestly, tomorrow is going to be for Tesla earnings. In my opinion, and this is not financial advice, Tesla does look like it's ready to blast off. It does. I mean, you're in an area of consolidation. Obviously, there's going to be a lot. There's a lot of people short here. There's a lot of people short in this area, and this is a great buying opportunity to be a buyer on Tesla. It's a great opportunity to be a buyer. So I've already bought my calls for Tesla already. Yeah. You got your strong low right here. I mean, first, I mean, the dead giveaway for the long is that, I mean, you got the market making this big run up. Uh, the one thing that I had to learn as an inexperienced trader, and I had to learn this quick, is that when the market is making a move like this and you get a pullback, you got passive buyers waiting in areas like this to buy the dip because they're not going to chase it. Or at least the experienced ones are not going to chase it. They know better not to chase the market. They know to wait for that pullback into an area of support, to buy, to consolidate, and then get that easy winner. That easy winner on the flip side of the trade. So I've already bought my calls. And I expect for the price to get at least back to 230, 250. especially to fill this gap for sure. I mean, this gap getting filled. That gap's getting filled. So I guess my bet is 230, but this is Tesla we're talking about. It can definitely make its way back up to 250. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Obviously, that's going to dictate. It's going to be a big influence on the market tomorrow. So, but all right, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I appreciate those that join. We'll do this again tomorrow morning, as always. And with that said, peace out, everybody.